get started. We're going through soul retrieval, how to win back your soul after narcissistic abuse. How to win back your soul after narcissistic abuse. That's the topic of conversation today. So let me get started. And let me be clear. Hey, Michael. Glad to see everybody. Today, we're not just talking about healing. What we're talking about today is retrieval, right? We're going through a retrieval discussion, not of the memories you've had, not of your mind, but of your soul. And let me be clear, narcissistic abuse doesn't just wound, it fractures. Hey, Michael. And it doesn't just manipulate, it possesses, it takes over. And the most dangerous lie of all this is that the part of you that was hijacked is gone forever. Not true. So for those who are just joining, my name is Nana Gyesie, Dr. Nana Gyesie. I'm the resident shaman and transformational coach at Inner Mileage. And we help people understand the trauma-based roots of limiting self-belief so you can get over that and win yourself back and take inspired action to live your best life right here. And today we're talking about how to win back yourself through soul retrieval after narcissistic abuse. And we will use inputs from science, because I like to give evidence, some quantum mechanics, and then some spiritual dimensions as well. So come on in. So what exactly is this self or soul that we talk about? Let's start with the definition. So your soul isn't just your essence, it's your divine architecture. And it's your divine architecture because it holds your blueprint, including your soul contracts, your purpose, your frequency, etc. It's not just a concept. It's a living pattern of light encoded with memory, desire, and divine rights. In some African traditions, like the Yoruba, it's called the Ori. In Hindu cosmology, this is known as the Atman. And in the Buddhist cosmology, it's known as Anatta, no self. This is about your inner spark of divine source. And from a quantum perspective, the soul is described as a non-local phenomenon. In other words, it's not restricted to where you are currently, wherever you are in the world. Because like quantum particles that exist in multiple states, your soul is multidimensional. It exists in multiple states across multiple timelines, realities, and lifetimes, if you can wrap your head around it. And trauma, including narcissistic abuse, Marie, collapses your quantum possibilities. So when you work with a trauma-informed shaman or coach like myself, we go through a soul retrieval process so you can get back to coherence. But let me give you some more evidence from a spiritual perspective. In Christianity, the soul is seen as the breath or the Holy Spirit, given by God and eternally tethered to divine judgment and salvation. You know, you see these references to, and God breathed into this person or that person. And in Islam, it's taught that the soul or the nafs must be purified. Hello, Iyai Beji, because it has lower urges and divine inclinations, the higher and the lower. You see? Now, from a psychological perspective, Carl Jung referred to the soul as the self, the capital S self, which is the organizing center of the psyche. And when trauma occurs, the soul fragments. You've probably heard, if you've done internal family systems, about the exiled parts of you, right? These are the parts that you suppress and push to protect your system. But in energetic terms, these are dislodged soul fragments floating in the trauma field. Specifically, in Hermetic and Egyptian traditions, the soul, known as Ka, is your life force. And soul retrieval is the process of calling back your Ka and your personality, your true self, and integrating it with your higher Ankh, your divine will. So when your soul is hijacked, you become profitable because disconnected souls feed toxic systems, such as religions, marriages, economies, etc. Thank you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And narcissistic abuse, when seen at scale, is a form of spiritual colonization. Let me say that again. Narcissistic abuse, when seen at scale, is a form of, you heard it, spiritual colonization. So therefore, soul retrieval is the revolutionary act. This is how you break out of jail. Am I making sense, or am I just losing you? Somebody tell me if I'm connecting to you, right? So how does narcissistic abuse hijack your soul? You see, the narcissist uses energetic manipulation. Thank you so much. Thank you, J Love. Thank you, Honey Buns. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Blessed for Life. Thank you, Helpful Soul. You see, that what the narcissist does is, when you meet a narcissist, you think you're in love with a narcissist, but actually the narcissist projects to you what you've told them about your deepest desires. So they become a projection of your soul, and they mirror your soul back to you, Dawn Marie. And then they take credit for it. And they do this through love bombing, where they anchor their frequency to your nervous system. Handmade products. This is how trauma bonds are created. And a trauma bond is simply a parasitic cord between the narcissist and your life force. We're getting into it today. This is not for everybody, but it's just for you, it's for you. So they do this. They hijack your soul through energetic manipulation. The second thing they do is fragmentation through betrayal. J Love Goddess, I'm so sorry this happened to you, because every manipulation, every gaslighting, I'm so glad Hamid broke. Every betrayal isn't just emotional, it is ritual psychic dismemberment, what some will call a humiliation ritual. Humiliation ritual. Let me say it again. Every manipulation, every gaslighting, every betrayal isn't just emotional, it is ritual psychic dismemberment. If you know how the narcissists work, you know they work with energy. That's the humiliation ritual, because they sever your connection to your own voice, your own instincts, and your sacred ability to say no, as well as your intuitive gifts. Then when they've fragmented you sufficiently, the false self emerges, because the narcissist needs a supply of attention, energy, and identity. So they project a false version of yourself. Thank you, right? They project a false version of you that serves their needs. And they punish you whenever you resist. So over time, that's exactly what they do, honey bun. So over time, you begin to internalize this false image as your own. And your true soul begins to recede. I'm so glad you're here, Damalgam. There was a bit of glitch with YouTube, but I'm glad you're here. So this is what they do, right? They really sever your soul in a very crazy way until you become a false self. So this is exactly it, Dawn Marie. So when you find yourself hating yourself, is because you are in the false self. Awake now, you see? And after they help you create this false self, they get into possession and displacement. So particularly in very acute cases, the narcissist psychically inhabits your sacred field. How? Their energy shows up in your dreams, in your decisions, in your spiritual body. It's not a metaphor. This is occult level energetic theft. Blessed for life. Let me say it again. The narcissist is a powerful negative energy worker. So in advanced situations, when you're that prized, hey, live free, what they begin to do is they psychically inhabit your sacred field. They enter your thoughts, your mind, your imagination. And they show up in your dreams, in your decisions. J Love Goddess 333, beautiful name. And in your spiritual body. Exactly, Dawn Marie. That's what they are. This is occultic. And then the other way they steal your source, your soul, yourself, is through these intergenerational soul contracts. Yes, we are, Dawn Marie, because many empaths, myself included, and I have to guess for you too, Live Free, for you, Damalgam, many of us were born into narcissistic families because of soul level contracts. So the child, you and me, are initiated into this dysfunction early. Oh, this is a special family. We're this, we're that. And you're taught to sacrifice your soul for survival. You're taught to sacrifice your soul for survival. And this is what makes you an ideal target for narcissists in adulthood because you were already initiated by the narcissists who were your caregivers. So your nervous system seeks the same. And these patterns become encoded and can only be reversed through conscious unbinding. So what exactly is soul retrieval? Let's get into it, Live Free. What exactly is soul retrieval, Damogam? What exactly is soul retrieval? Well, soul retrieval is not therapy. And there's a place for therapy, but we don't deal with that. We deal with understanding why things happen to you so you can get to the root cause and empower yourself to shift it because you are the creator after all. I am the creator, just like you. So what soul retrieval is, it is ceremonial re-entry into the trauma field, retrieving the soul parts exiled at the moment of betrayal. It's kind of what internal family systems tries to do, Michael. I reject every narcissist unless they want to play. I don't mind getting dirty for fun. Michael, you're just having too much fun with these narcissists, Demon Slayer. Let me say this again, Marsha. Soul retrieval is not therapy. It's not even internal family systems. It is an energetic ceremonial re-entry into the place of trauma, not to admire the problem, but so the exile parts are excised at the point of betrayal. So the shaman, me, if I'm the vessel for you, will journey with you through this energetically. Then it's important to also realize, Bobby, that trauma lives in the amygdala. The amygdala is the part of the brain that is all about fear, 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 flight. So trauma lives in the amygdala and in your body. And soul retrieval activates, right? It really does activate the frozen pathways, the neural pathways, and rewires your nervous system. When a soul fragment returns, the body often trembles or cries or has an emotional release. Because what is happening is you're releasing trapped somatic intelligence, Marsha. Then, of course, there's a place for ritual ancestral work, right? But we're not going to go into those details here. So when you retrieve a soul fragment, what you're actually doing is you're collapsing a timeline that had split off. Because remember, there is no time in the quantum realm, Dawn Marie, right? So you restore frequency coherence. You're no longer fragmented all over the place, which is why you feel lost and confused and ungrounded. And you bring your past self into the now, where healing can occur. This is quantum integration. And the closest thing to this from a therapeutic standpoint is internal family systems, handmade products. I'm so glad you're picking it up. I'm so glad. Handmade products by Nicole Lucha. This is the whole point, Bobby. So let me give you a different view on what the soul is. So the Buddhists, which I am, talk about the soul from a perspective of anatta, meaning there's no permanent self. There's no fixed permanent self. So what you call the I is a shift and flow of causes and conditions. There's no permanent I. For example, wherever you were born, let's imagine you were born in Beijing, China. Would you be the same person? If you were born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, would you be the same person? Even if you were born to the same, if you're born in Accra, Ghana, would you be the same person? No. So Buddhism doesn't deny that there is a soul. It denies the attachment to the idea of the soul, that your soul is not yours. It's reality flowing through you. And narcissistic abuse freezes that flow. So soul retrieval from a Buddhist standpoint is returning to the unconditioned self, the unbound, non-identifying awareness. This is what it's about. So what are some examples? And I'm going to stop soon and take some questions. Some examples or signs that tell you that you've actually retrieved your soul, whether you did it on your own or you work with a coach or a shaman. The first sign is you no longer seek validation, Bobby, Ellie. You feel your own frequency. Let me say this as loudly as I can. You no longer seek validation. Was that loud enough? You no longer seek validation. Did you hear that? Number two, thank you, Honey Buns. Thank you, Dawn Marie. The second thing that begins to happen is boundaries become instinctual. You because you are self-respecting and self-loving, helpful soul, you have no problem with boundaries. That is another example of you being in a state of soul retrieval. Then you begin to be able to dream again. A lot of people's ability to dream gets stunted in abuse. When you find yourself being able to dream, but dreams that inform you, whether it's lucid dreaming or some other kind of dream, you're aware that you're there. That's how you know you've retrieved your soul, Marsha. Another example is, for example, wherever you are now, if you're lying down or sitting, notice if your body is stiff or relaxed. Another example of knowing whether you've escaped and retrieve your soul is your body softens. You're not stiff. And if just check your body right now and see if you're relaxed. If you're not relaxed, lean into relaxation. Because soul retrieval softens your body, because trauma no longer occupies your mindset. And the narcissist no longer invades your thoughts because they are energetically unhooked. That's another proof of life, that you've retrieved your soul. Then another example is you stop ruminating and trying to make sense of your pain. Oh, look at what I went through, and this was so bad. And look at what they did to me. No, you stop ruminating on that. It takes a long time to heal narcissistic abuse awareness. It does. It can take years. Thank you, Indigo Star. You're wise too. Well, your lower back pain, blessed for life, is your body just saying, good job. I'm not used to you doing this. You see what I'm saying? The biggest, blessed for life. The other way you know you've retrieved your soul is you can say no without explaining. Just like Rosa Parks did. No. Nah. Naim. Of course your dreams were stunted, Kiki. Of course you were. And when your ability to say no is an example, exactly, when you stop being a victim, you focus on rising. And then for some of us, you begin to feel the presence of your spirit guides or your ancestors, or the sense that everything is going to be okay, or you feel like you're walking into your mission. No is a full sentence. Na is a complete paragraph. 9 is a complete book. You start to feel your answer. That's how you know that you've actually done this. And how do you do your soul retrieval? Can you do this on your own? Of course you can. But it helps to have a guide. And the guide can walk you, like myself here at Inner Mileage. If it can be of help to you, book a free session on my website, innermileage.com. You become bold, EIBG. Exactly. You go through cognitive reversal. You stop identifying with the spells that the narcissist planted in you. You think I'm in the same home again with him? Yes, I have. I need to do it again. I don't know. Maybe you do, right? But you go through this process of remembering that you've always been sacred. And then being able to use the breath. You see, the breath is such an underrated tool of spiritual ascension, because you are the breath, if you can wrap your head around it. Maybe one day I'll do a full session on the breath, right? You begin to go through embodiment activation, like dancing. We do a lot of dancing here. That's proof. Yoga, that's proof. That helps. Doing altar work, if you believe in that, having an altar for whatever you believe makes a difference, right? Taking salt baths, rituals of severance. These are all helpful things. Sarita, these are all helpful things that you can do. And it's important to realize that your soul was never broken. It was hijacked. It was hidden, even protected. And it waited for you to awaken, to remember, especially at this time when everything around us is designed to dim our light, to kill us, metaphorically, to put us in a frequency of fear, so that we inhabit that fear and then manifest that fear in our own lives. No, you're not healing, you're returning. And despite what the evidence outside you says, you should inhabit this place of peace within you, because there's nothing outside. And everything's an internal game, which is why these narcissists want to get into your head to manipulate you into a reality that they live in. And you know the reality that the narcissist lives in? The narcissist lives in a place of permanent hell. And not only do they live there, the narcissist is also hell. And you are reminded that heaven is possible. So it's important to realize that you're not just recovering, right, Sarita? Goddess Isis, powerful name, you're resurrected. And soul retrieval is not just a metaphor, it's mine and your divine inheritance. This is what it's about. So now we'll take questions. If you're on Instagram and TikTok, you can just say pick me or just request and I can get you in here. And on YouTube, just send in your questions, keep sending your questions and we'll answer them. But this is the whole story on soul retrieval, right? This is how you win yourself back. And soul retrieval is simply getting to a place of remembrance, realizing that the chemicals in your body are hijacked by the narcissist, which is why they're experts at trauma bonding, because trauma bonding is simply you creating oxytocin and cortisol, which creates the highs and lows. Of course, they are demons, EIBG. They are demonic entities, and not just the person, but the spirit within them, because we're all children of the Most High. All right, Marsha, let's get you in here. But when you are narcissistic, you're narcissistic because your negative energies have made you resonant to this Jezebel spirit, and this Jezebel spirit inhabits you and then takes over you and then uses you as a tool for its own utility. This is how the whole thing works. So if you're finding that that's happening to you, this is why it's happening to you. It's because the Jezebel spirit has hijacked you. The Jezebel spirit has hijacked you. Thank you so much, TDD. And this is what happens. So, Marsha, I can't seem to find you. Can you request and come in and ask your question? I can't find you here, Marsha. You might have to just request and ask the question, right? Is there a request? There should be a request thing on the right side of your screen. Todd. All right, Todd. What's on your mind? The Jezebel spirit is a spiritual explanation for this demonic entity. You can call them archons or what have you, that inhabit this narcissist. And the narcissists are used as monitoring spirits to come after an empath. So you realize it's not personal. You know, and if you have a coven of narcissists in your life, you find that narcissists in your family, narcissists in your marriage, narcissists at work. These are signs of proof that you have a monitoring spirit, the spirit of Jezebel, as Michael just pointed out, that is surrounding you. And this monitoring spirit's primary purpose is to hijack you so you don't manifest your full glory. That's what it's about. You see? Hey, Treasure Star, how you doing? You've dealt with it your whole life. Let's get some people in here. You've dealt with it your whole life, and this is what happens, right? That the Jezebel spirit or this monitoring spirits are not going to leave you until they destroy you. So you don't have a choice except to really deal with it and overcome it. Because if not, it will overcome you. And its primary mission is to destroy you. It's as simple as that. It's just to destroy you. You know, nothing more, nothing less. So when you stop being resonant to this by embracing self-love, you ascend. You see? You ascend. Yes, thank you so much, Dawn Marie. Marsha, just hit guest on the right of the chat, and you should be able to come in. Can you see that? How do you overcome the Jezebel spirit? Oh, that's a great question, Samantha. You overcome the Jezebel spirit by remaining blameless, by ascending to a place of self-love, because a narcissist lives in a permanent place of hate. Hey, Marsha, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm well. Tell us what happened to you. What's on your mind?
First of all, I want to say thank you, and I thank the universe and God for allowing me to find your page. It came in wonderful, and I mean wonderful timing.
I'm so glad.
I'm in the process. The universe and the spirits have been showing me some stuff in the last few weeks, and I happened to walk in onto your page on TikTok in perfect timing for a message I know I was meant to hear.
Whoa.
I just ended a relationship with a narcissist. As a matter of fact, in the irony and the whole thing, when you started to explain about we're born empaths are born into a narcissist family, a year ago I severed a relationship with my narcissistic mother. And the irony was I found myself back in a narcissistic relationship, not realizing I was now back in a narcissistic situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank the universe and I thank God for you, for your message. It came in like perfect timing. One of the questions I wanted to ask was, I guess during my relationship with this individual, I noticed that I was extremely fatigued.
Yes.
It didn't matter what I did, how much coffee I drank. It just did not matter. And I felt like my spirit was being drained with this person.
Yes.
Can that be a thing? I mean, I'm new to this as an empath. I'm actually doing a tiny walk, and my spirit has been showing me some stuff. Like I said, you just confirmed what I needed to hear, what I've been hearing.
So Marsha, not only, this is a wonderful question, not only is this a symptom of being under narcissistic abuse, is actually emblematic of going through narcissistic abuse, and for a number of reasons. You see, the narcissist deliberately creates chaos because they are hell and live in hell. Exactly, they are fuel source, exactly. So when the narcissist sees you at peace and relaxed, it irks them. It makes them mad because how can you be so peaceful when I'm in this permanent place of hell? So what they do is they manufacture chaos. And they manufacture toxicity, whether it's overt chaos or polite, civilized chaos. And it's all designed to keep you off balance. And when you're off balance, you're exhausted because you're walking on eggshells. You feel tension within yourself. And when you feel tension within yourself, this is because your amygdala, which is the part of your brain that processes fear or flight, is in overdrive. And when your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, is in overdrive, it suppresses the part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that can reason and think and create. So narcissistic abuse actually makes you stupid.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, because of the way it manipulates the chemicals within you. And that's why a lot of people get stuck. This is how a trauma bond is created. So you're so exhausted. I remember when I left, particularly my second marriage, I slept and I was so tired because so much tension. So it was just a lot. So you realize that one of the first things you start to prioritize when you leave narcissistic abuse is self-care, because you're tired, you're drained, you've forgotten how to love yourself. And fatigue is a deliberate strategy used by the narcissist to maintain control. So when you're at peace, they will find a reason to create discord. And it's part of the spiritual games they play. It's deliberate, it's intentional, it's strategic, it's on purpose. They mean to do it. I don't know how else to make this point. Is this making sense to you, Marsha?
It does. It actually does. And it's funny you mentioned about the frontal cortex, because about 2 days ago, I ran into a video on YouTube that talked about the narcissist.
Yeah.
He mentioned the same verbatim what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And I know this was meant for me to hear again.
Yeah.
He mentioned that in due time, maintaining a relationship with a narcissist eventually now starts to shrink that frontal cortex. He said, "You tell me verbatim what you just repeated." He repeated. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm hearing this again." And so this really was meant for me to hear. And it's a little bit of a struggle for me, honestly speaking, because I had feelings for this person, but at the same time, I kept saying something about this individual reminding me.
Can I just bust your bubble over there, Marsha, with love?
Yes.
You don't love them.
I don't.
You don't love them. Let me tell you what they did. You're trauma bonded to them because they listened to you, gathered information from you, and became the prototype of your worst fears and your highest desires. So they gave you an image of yourself to fall in love with, and they maintained it through this trauma bond, which is this up, down, up, down, up, down dynamic. And that's what you call love. That ain't love, Marsha.
And I called him out on that, said to them, I said that actually, I started to gain my power back, and I think it was the spirits kind of like not pushing. I started to see this stuff. I seen it before, but it was like I was in denial. I was like, no, it can't be this. It's not that. We're doing so good, but why is it like this today? Why is there always a problem? Because
they're clever. They always shift strategies. The moment this is why you don't want to call a narcissist out until you're ready to leave. Because a narcissist will simply change strategy. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. And then okay, we can't do that anymore. Let's change the strategy. This is what they do. So it's very hard to catch on to the narcissist. And the fact that you've caught on is proof of your divine intelligence, Marsha.
Yes, thank you.
Because most people go through these marriages or relationships and they end up becoming codependent. They go from being empowered to becoming codependent. And the fact that you're waking up or have woken up, you see, it took Dawn Marie 22 years. It took many of us to have to send these life sentences with this narcissist. And the moment you wake up because you started to love yourself.
Yes.
You didn't wake up because the narcissist got sloppy. Because the only way to not be resonant to a narcissist is to be in love with yourself.
Yeah.
They all have the same playbook, Xander. Doesn't matter about culture and national origin. Is this making sense to you, Marsha?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I'm gonna have to get with you offline because
Let's
I
do that.
definitely on my spiritual journey need some guidance. And I know the universe isn't speaking to me. It's just, and funny you mentioned about the dreams too. At one point, I just hadn't been having dreams, and I see things very clear in my sleep. Sometimes I see it in the awakening. I can hear it, the intuition, all of that, and it came to a halt.
Thank
But
you,
in the
Doc.
last few weeks, it started to ramp up. I
Yeah.
started to feel like it was just crazy dreams. I see some things of my waking spirit. Sometimes it was a way I would feel in my body. But after a while, I got to a place with the narcissist where I just didn't care. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
You know why?
I don't want to do
What?
this
You know why you didn't care anymore?
Mhm.
Because you started to care about yourself.
Yes.
You started to care about yourself. So, Marsha, I really look forward to having a longer conversation with you. But before you go, what are your final words for the massive today?
Definitely listen to your spirit. Listen to your gut. Listen to your intuition. You have to put you first.
You know,
have to put you.
you have to put you
That's the way
first.
you get out of it.
You have to put you first. Marsha, this is before you go. This is Fortunate by Common and Pete Rock. This is for you.
Thank you.
That's it.
I'm fortunate to be alive and explain how I got here, keep alive. The deliverance and diligence for which we strive. It's the feeling of silliness when you rise. Fortunate to have friends.
That's for you. That's Common. I'm fortunate.
Solid fan. Thank you so much.
One love, yeah. You're welcome back here anytime. You hear me? Peace, 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 peace. This is the story. You see? So the reason why your abuse feels like a life sentence is because it is. Your soul has been hijacked. And so soul retrieval is pulling your soul back, global. This is about pulling your soul back, winning yourself back. It's a jailbreak. You said it. And the only way you do it is through love. Because there's only one love. You see, there's a genius in what the Rastafari meant when they say one love. Because out of 8 billion stories, there's only one. Out of all the kinds of love out there, there's only one. That's why I am you and you are me. There's only one. Handmaid, I'm glad you love that. There's only one. That's why we're here, exchanging love. This is what we're doing, Kristen. That's exact, Kristen. That's right. That's Common and Pete Rock. The song is called Fortunate. And I like to use music a lot. I might be clairaudient. We are love. We are love. You see, we are love. I'm going to create a playlist, I promise. By next week, I'll have it up and I'll put a link. I'll put it up on my website. So this is what it's about. Thank you so much. You know, this is what it's about, Dawn Marie. This is what it's about. This is about winning yourself back and realizing that the reason why it's hard for a lot of people to escape narcissistic abuse is because their souls have been hijacked by very adept. You see, the narcissist is a highly intelligent, adept master and mistress. Don't take it for granted. The narcissist is a high-level warlock, a high-level demon. Very intelligent, these narcissists. But you know what's more intelligent than a narcissist? An awakened empath or a dark empath like Michael. And when you come into that dark nature of yours, that dark empathy, that Hiyoka empath within you, these narcissists run for the hills. Because the reason why the narcissists target you is because the narcissist is a high-ranking child of darkness. And does a high-ranking child of darkness want to be with somebody not on their level? No. That's why they target you, a highest-ranking child of light. You see, I'm just telling you who you are, but I'm not in a position to tell you who you are. How do you make money, bro? I don't understand the question. What do you mean, how do I make money? How do you make money? What is money? Money is spirit. Money is currency. That's why it's a current, because current is a unit of energy. In the same way, joule is a jewel, which is a unit of electricity. So how do you make money? Check your electricity. What's your frequency? My brother, Who the fuck is Jax? Is that your name? I just told you. I just answered your question. You see? So this is what it is. This is what it is. And what happens is narcissistic abuse puts you in a scarcity mindset. And when you wake up from narcissistic abuse, you start to embrace your abundance. It doesn't matter if you're in a recession, a depression, an incision, an inquisition. The only thing you have is an abundance within you. And that abundance within you will take care of you, whether you're in a cash economy or a cashless economy, because all abundance comes from within, the divine. You see what I'm saying? This is what it's about. So, escaping narcissistic abuse is not for the faint of heart. And the reason why it feels very hard and insidious is because not only do they emotionally abuse you, they extract your essence, your soul. Dark empaths are people too. Of course you are, Michael. No, why do you feel guilty? Embrace the darkness, because guess what, Michael? How does light shine? In the dark. We are more powerful than these demons, but they do a good job, Dawn Marie, of convincing us that we are not powerful. So a lot of us don't even believe in our power. Exactly, Samantha. It takes courageous discipline. That's why you have to have practices that you do every day. You know, on a spiritual path, there's this great monk, Bhante Buddha Rakita, and my teacher, Tuare Sala, who precepted me and initiated me. They say something about a spiritual path, which I still apply today. On the spiritual path, it's important to start and continue. On the spiritual path, it's important to start and continue. And if for any reason you fall off, 2 words: begin again. Begin again. So this is how it works, that you have to be serious about retrieving your soul. And the process of retrieving your soul means you become everything that the narcissist is not, Ellie. So if the narcissist is evil, you become blameless. If the narcissist is manipulative, you become truthful. If the narcissist is a bully, you become fair. If the narcissist has no boundaries, you have boundaries. If the narcissist is about hate, you become about love. If nothing else, just do the opposite of what the narcissist does, and that's your path to salvation. Because the narcissist lives in a permanent place of self-hate, also known as hell. So you live in a place of self-love, which puts you in the place of heaven, right here. Am I making sense? This is the whole kit and caboodle. This is how you do it. This is how you find the love within you and ascend. Because the narcissist cannot subjugate or bully any empath who loves themselves. It just can't work. They can try. But it's like trying to connect an AM radio to satellite radio. Not to take it personally, Sarita. The insult is a trigger to get you to give them supply. So you can have a boundary, right, as a response, but you never react. Never react. Everything a narcissist does is to try to trigger supply, a reaction. And the more negative the reaction, the happiest and regulated the narcissist. You can laugh. Yeah, you can laugh in their face. Give them nothing. You can laugh if you want to let the devil know that you've caught on to the devil. But usually with a narcissist, the best thing to do is not to give them any supply at all, because that's what they really crave and want. You see what I mean? This is the whole game. And once you stop doing that, the narcissists can't do anything. They just lose steam. They're not able to get at you. So this is the whole message. You see, this is the message. This is the message. And I'm going to sign off with this song from Nigeria's own Wizkid featuring Damian Jr. Gong Mali. This is Blessed. This Grey Rock works really well. You never hang up. The first thing is, why are you on the phone with a narcissist anyway? Why are you having a conversation with them? Unless they're your boss or someone you can't avoid, there's no reason to be having a conversation. You can have an exchange where you talk about logistics and facts. But a conversation, I don't know, Sarita. We need to talk. And Serena, if I can be of help to you, book a free session on my website, innermileage.com. And remember, like Whiskey and Damian Marley are saying, we are all blessed. And it's very easy. It's very easy to forget you're blessed, Global. And you trick will be you. This is what they do. This is exactly what they do. So, fam, friends, lovers, I'm just here as your humble servant. I'm sending you a lot of good energy. And no matter what you do, remember you're blessed. Like Damon Jr., Gung Mali, and Whiskey are saying. And one love always, because we are one. One love always. One love always. And no matter what you do, if you don't remember anything from this life, just remember that the most effective way of defeating a narcissist is to love yourself. That's what they do, Global, with these smear campaigns. So, one love. Don't worry about what they're trying to do to scare you. Just go within and stay inward. Be aware of what's going on. This is Blessed by Whiskey featuring Damon Jr. Gone Gags. And I promise I'll have a playlist on my website very soon, in the next week or so. I'm going to take inspired action. I did promise last week, and I'll make sure it's done soon. I'll put it on there. So, one love, fam. Remember, you're blessed. Yeah? I will do this again same time next week. One love, folks. One love, one love, one love. Peace and light. Yeah, man. Yeah.